Hey, what's going on, guys? It's CJ here, back with another movie review with DJ Sue here, and we're going to be talking about real quick,
Yeah,
about Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm gonna
just
do
right quick.
something a little different. Yeah, we're gonna hit you with regular spoiler-free review, but I'm thinking me and Sue, because I really need to get all this out here. We might do a quick spoiler thing that I might just drop on Sunday, because I this is one of those things like Endgame. I hate it when Endgame dropped, where me and you had saw it weeks ahead, right?
Hmm.
And I had to sit on that shit
Yeah,
and couldn't
we
say
both did.
shit online. And
We couldn't.
I couldn't fucking say anything. And I'm just sitting there like I can only talk to Eris and I can only talk to Sam and them. And that was it. I couldn't say
Shout out to
shit.
JVS.
Yeah, and we even had to hold a review for a while, and I'm like, this fucking sucks. So I'm like, you know what? We might just do a separate spoiler shit just to get it all out of our chest right now, because I'm not gonna go the whole fucking week just sitting on it like the fucking meme where he's holding it in and stuff. So it's like, nah, let me get it out now, throw it up on Sunday, and then maybe do another follow up spoiler thing. So, anyways, Spider-Man No Way Home. I said it coming out the theater that much like Infinity War and Endgame, they definitely held a lot of shit to their chest with this movie, despite some of the obvious leaks on certain things about this film. Um, whatever leaks that you heard, I'm gonna go ahead and say there's a small percentage of it that's true, but everything else is not. I think that's pretty vague enough to kind of say for the most part.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to. Well, see, I
It's
don't.
not. It's not
No, no,
spoiling.
no.
It's
It
just
ain't spoiling. It ain't spoiling. Like, I guess I don't want to get into it by asking what did they say. Like what leak did they think was true that turned out to be not true. You know,
yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
want
I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying it in a very broad way, like, and basically in a nutshell, saying whatever you think that this movie is, ditch it completely. Just ditch it and go into this movie for what it is.
which is what I did.
Yeah, which you should do, because most movies, and particularly with Sony and MCU and all that stuff, you can get kind of a general idea of what it's going to be. And in this one, whatever I had in my mind of what this movie was, by the time you get to the end credits, it's like, this wasn't what I thought it was, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was definitely a long time coming. I saw a lot of people, like, when the MCU first started, there was this thing about like Spider-Man being, oh, he's Iron Man Jr. and stuff. And by the time you get to this third movie, you see why they progressed the way they did with this character, to where this was the logical point it was going to get to.
Mm-hmm.
The whole gist of this whole movie in a nutshell is, if you saw at the end of wow, Far From Home, sorry. Far From Home, his identity gets exposed, and that puts Peter, MJ, and
Ned.
Ned's in this very precarious situation where
Pretty much anybody who knows him.
anybody who knows them, it puts them in very shitty situations than normal. It's not as like, they're not the celebs like the Avengers, where people know Tony Stark and it's like, oh, he's Tony Stark, he's a celeb. It's the 180 for Spider-Man. Like,
Yeah, it's basically TMZ and paparazzi like bait, you
and
know.
it's affecting everything, personal life and just everything. And as you saw from the trailer, he goes to Doctor Strange for help, and shenanigans ensues. Doc Ock and Vulture. Well, Doc Ock, wow, Green Goblin, pretty much the bad guys from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies pop in, and pretty sure it's pretty easy to figure out where it goes.
Especially if you've seen the trailers.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
if you especially
it's
seen the
all to be
trailers.
expected.
Yeah. What did you think? I know I was seeing you were giddy as hell, like from like the soon as the opening credits all the way to the end. So I mean, just what is your overall feelings
Oh,
about this movie?
all right. So I'll say this. Unlike a lot of the earlier MCU movies, uh, this movie jumped us like right into uh, like we got thrown right into the fire. I would say about 5 minutes in. like sorry, not 5, more like really about 10 to 15 minutes in, boom, like here's what you came to see. And I guess it was just seeing it all on the IMAX screen. And
Legit IMAX. This
I
is
mean
like what, our
legit
second time we
IMAX.
were on IMAX seeing something.
No, actually, this was our second Spider-Man movie that we've seen in IMAX.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
saw Far From Home at the Smithsonian.
technically, this will be third IMAX for me because I did see Snake Eyes in IMAX. You didn't
Yeah,
though.
you did. But I did see Endgame in
Yeah. Well, I'm just
IMAX.
saying this year in terms of
Oh
IMAX.
yeah, for this, yeah.
Yeah.
But in any case, seeing just seeing everything unfold on the big screen like that, I was just happy because as someone who's watched like every Spider-Man movie that's come out like since the beginning, um, this movie just really delivered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it delivered everything. One of my one of the things that I had said going into this movie, I said something. Again, I'm not going to spoil. I said something, and it meant it definitely held up my end of the bargain by by doing what they did in the movie. So for me, it was just the spectacle of the whole film. Like the visual effects is what really blew me away. The cinematography, the way they shot everything. Yes, there was a lot of like super obvious CGI, which is to be expected
But it
because
wasn't like distracting
not
CGI.
distracting, but I mean like see like okay, see I didn't tell you this, but I did like a full legacy run of the Spider-Man movies leading up to this one.
Yeah.
And just watching those old movies, and I can't even say old, but hell, even watching Amazing Spider-Man, looking at the stuff, like how they shot that movie, how you see Spider-Man, use the web and swing around and stuff, and how he fights. It's even that's different compared to seeing the stuff from Homecoming, Far From Home, and this
Yeah.
one. It's just seeing the progression of visual effects is what blows me away, and they knocked it out again with this movie because I remember watching Far From Home when we saw that in IMAX,
Yeah.
and I thought God, like this is the most Spider-Man that we've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie
Yep.
at that time, especially from a visual aspect. But then you go and just throw this movie at us, and I'm like, oh God, like, is there anything? I'm like Sony, Marvel, is there anything you guys can't do?
I mean, I think I think it speaks volumes on like as much as people don't want to talk about it and stuff. I feel this movie definitely puts Sony in a situation where I think they're going to keep going back to Marvel Studios for this and
I mean,
stuff because
I mean, even though they can keep going back to Marvel if they want, but at the end of the day, it's Sony's bag. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but I mean,
Because
put it
they
this way,
own Spider-Man.
they own it, but like when you watch the movie, it's like, yeah, Sony's collecting the money because this clearly was produced by Marvel top to bottom. Like, granted, yes, Sony has some input probably on a lot of the writing in certain instances and stuff, but like there's definitely a different flavor from this one in comparison to say Venom.
Right.
In
Yeah,
terms of the
yeah,
in
we
terms of the
definitely saw
vibe, in
that.
terms of the vibe and stuff. And that, like I said, but that then again, that's the difference between the characters and stuff. So it's just a different vibe. But like you were saying with the
Also,
special effect, with the visual effects and stuff, um,
also something else. The other, I mean, going like to piggyback off of what you were saying, this definitely was produced by Marvel and not necessarily Sony. But the reason behind that is because Sony is working on Spider-Verse 2.
yeah, well, that's a different group of writers and stuff. But yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Still, Sony,
it's
that's the Spider-Verse is Sony's baby, so Sony is
well, I
all in
mean,
on that.
yeah, they're all in on that one and stuff. Who knows if that bleeds into it? Because, like I said, even on a live action front, no, I'll say that for the spoiler thing.
Yeah, save it
Um,
for the spoilers,
but
please.
nah, but yeah, like you said, the visual effects, it's definitely, I would say, what you thought from Far From Home with Mysterio,
Hmm.
I think it works out great in this one. In particular, like this instance, again, not spoiler because you saw in the trailer. The lizard in this movie, it looked like they beefed up the effects for him in this one
Oh
compared to
yeah,
the
they
Amazing
did.
movies.
And again, that was 2014. It's not like they had to go back
I mean, it's
and
a 6-year gap, so
it's
yeah,
a 6 year
it's not
gap.
that much of a change.
Yeah, it's not that much of like, oh, like a freaking shader upgrade or something.
Well, I mean, they beefed up in terms of certain subtle details in terms of like how he visually looks and stuff, which I kind of took notice and stuff. Obviously, you guys saw Jamie Foxx's Electro. They changed his visuals up and stuff in a very good
Yep.
way. Like I said, everybody, it's like they took what they had in the previous movies, and it was the old Capcom adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, hey, just take what they did and just slightly make tweaks to it that you can do. I'm still not a fan of Power Ranger Goblin. I'm sorry. It's no, it's just not. It's not doing it for
The
me. Like
green, like the freaking bio. No, you mean Guyver suit, Goblin.
either which way, Power Rangers guy. I'm just not a fan of it and stuff because it's like I get it, but like
It's like,
you
why
have
does everybody have to rock a tack suit? You know what I'm saying?
like no, it's it's really the mask because it's like back when
Mm,
Raimi did the Goblin and stuff, obviously this was their quick way of doing the Green Goblin. But
yeah,
it was something Kevin Smith had said where it's like you have William Dafoe, a guy who can do all these facial visual stuff, and we saw it in that movie. And I will say this movie does a good job of actually capitalizing on William Dafoe's, yeah, he's in the movie, William Dafoe's like facial
yeah,
stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. You did it. Thank you. Is this just when I saw the mask, I was like, oh, come on, guys. Like, what are we
yeah.
doing?
I felt the same. I was like, okay, it was cool to see the mask. I'm like,
Get it
are we
all.
going?
No, no, no.
I'm like, are we going to see the mask the whole movie? Can I see Will? Like, can I see Willem's face just once,
But
please?
that's what it is. It's like it's invoking the nostalgia and stuff. But I
I
would
get
say,
it,
but
dude. The
even with
pumpkin bomb alone was nostalgia enough for
oh
me.
yeah, I mean, and like I said, even with I think my fear going into it, I think I told you, well, a lot of people's fears, I would say, is all this stuff of callbacks from the previous Spider-Man movies, how much of this was going to overtake the narrative story that they were going with Spider-Man in regards to MJ and Ned's. And thankfully the movie doesn't get away from that. Like they're like all those homages from the previous Spider-Man movies are there, but the core story regarding Peter, his life, and his relationship with Ned and MJ is still intact. It's still at the forefront of it.
I mean, for as long as this movie was, they had plenty of room.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too, because people just saw that and was like, man, it's not even freaking this MCU Spider-Man's own movie because of this. And I was like, you know what? I can kind of see how those trailers do give off that vibe of it, just like they're getting away from Peter's story and stuff. But then, like, when you watch, it's like, oh no, 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 they didn't get away from it.
Nope, they didn't.
This is the story. Okay, cool. But yeah, like I said, the story was fine. I would say this. I think they could have. This is one of those movies that chop off maybe 10 minutes, possibly.
I was fine with it.
It didn't feel long. Like it didn't feel long like Black Widow.
Endgame.
Endgame was 3 hours, but I understood 3 hours. Like Black Widow. Black Widow, they could have chopped off like 15 and you would have been good.
Especially after what we know about that movie and the revelations that appeared in that movie.
Yeah, it's like I like I said,
it's still my least favorite MCU film.
Like I enjoy it, but like I said, it was just one of those you could have cut 2 minutes here, 2 minutes here, and it still would have came to that logical conclusion and you would have been fine. This one was like much like Endgame, where it's like it's long, but it doesn't feel like it's taxing. Like
it wasn't taxing to me. Like, Far From Home. I guess it's because it's my first time watching it, but still, it didn't feel taxing to me.
Yeah, which like I said, that's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Hell, Far From Home is long.
Dude, you know what it reminded me of? Remind me of Shang-Chi. I watched Shang-Chi recently. That shit goes by like
it's quick.
And this movie
that is a quick watch.
And this movie, to your point, what you were saying was within 5-10 minutes of this movie, it gets right to the proceedings. It ain't no fucking bullshit. It's like, oh, that shit at the end of Far From Home, boom, right into it with J. Jonah Jameson. It's like, oh, okay, so y'all just getting right to the shits. All right, cool. And by the time you get to that finale, it's like, wow, we're at the finale already. Like,
I know
damn,
that's like, that's how it hit for me. I was like, oh damn, this really is the end.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, I like the way they use Doctor Strange in this movie. Like, he's not as dominant as I thought.
I thought that Doctor Strange was going to be pretty dominant in the movie. I was like, oh boy,
he's in.
I was like, huh, Spider-Man. I was like, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are teaming up. Okay, all right.
That's what I thought too. But
Because you know what? This is the second time we got hit with that loop. Because remember when we saw the trailer for Homecoming and we thought Spider-Man and Iron Man was going to be teaming up and doing their thing in the movie, but that was just that one shot, nothing else.
yeah. So I mean, like he plays his role, and there's definitely there's definitely tie-ins to his film in this movie.
Yep.
In a way that's not like, oh my god, this is just set up for this. No, it's like, no.
Mm-mm,
This has been
no.
building up for quite a while since the end of Endgame. Well, actually, since Infinity War, when he mentioned that whole
And WandaVision.
yeah. Well, I would say it started at Infinity War as soon as he saw all those
Oh yeah,
future
the
when he
fourth.
saw all
Yeah,
those future visions and stuff.
yeah.
And even in Endgame with the time travel stuff and what he heard, it's like, oh, it started since then. And granted, you could say even from back during Doctor Strange in his movie when we got a hint
Yeah,
with
when he kept repeating himself and seeing Dormammu over and over.
that and also like when the ancient one, opened his as I dubbed the third eye
The
and he
third
started
eye.
going, yeah, and he started, yeah. So it was like there, but this movie really emphasized like, oh, this ain't over. This
Nope.
definitely ain't over and stuff. Particularly him and his relationship with Wong, because we got some revelations with that as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um, so you got that. Even the supporting cast from the previous films that are in there with like JB Smoove and Hannibal Buress. Both of them are funny in this film. Yeah, like I said, this was definitely a grand culmination that we've seen since Homecoming, and they stuck the landing on a trilogy so far. I mean, it's a one part of a trilogy, I should say, but
Can we say uh I mean you're the bigger comic book fan, but but I'm a huge movie fan, so I
okay,
gotta ask just between me and you.
okay.
Is this in the universe of perfect trilogies? Very few trilogies
Um,
ever get that title of perfect trilogy.
so okay, I think everybody universally liked Homecoming,
Yeah,
right?
it was a good movie.
Um, Far From Home was mixed for a lot of folks because, and the majority of that was folks that they didn't like like because like I said, going back to what I said at the beginning, a lot of people wanted that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man vibe,
Mm-hmm.
particularly with how Raimi did it. And I always sat there and said, no, you have to kind of go different this time around with Spider-Man, where you have to kind of put him knee deep into the Avengers shit
Right.
and
I mean,
all
how
this
many
stuff
times?
off. Because, like, yeah, well, yeah, like I'm
I
pretty sure
mean,
you're about
how
to say
many?
how, yeah, how
Yeah, I
many
was gonna
times
say, how many times are we gonna do Spider-Man doing shit in New York?
yeah, so it's like you had to put him in those positions where he's actually going to be part of the whole Infinity War, fighting Thanos and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Because that's something that happened in the comics to a degree. He was always part of those big things and stuff.
and
But at the same
consider
time, I understand people that's like, hey, I want Spider-Man doing regular shit. That's fine. That's cool.
yeah.
I think Homecoming did a pretty good job of showing a little bit of part of that and stuff.
I mean, it was close
Um,
enough. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, he took. I mean, he took a field trip to DC. I mean,
yeah, but you still got that.
DC. Hey, DC, stand up. But
Yeah, but you still it was still that kind of friendly. So it's like but I understand why the MCU was like, you know what, let's do something different. Throw him knee deep into this universe and have him just doing crazy wild stuff because he's done that in the comics.
hmm
And the movies, it's always like you said, it's always so hyper focused on all right, New York stuff, and that's it. You never felt that there's a larger part of the world. And funny enough, there's an inside joke about that whole
hmm
aspect of it. And when you see the joke, it's like valid points are made.
valid points were made, and there was another joke that was like that was thrown out there in the movie. I'm not going to say which character said it, but let's just say a character said something about Spider-Man, and when I caught it, I laughed, and I don't know if you heard me. I don't know if you heard me say it, Chris, but I was like, "Give it time, man. Give it time."
I
I'm
mean,
serious. I said, "Give it time, dog."
but going back to your thing about perfect trilogies and stuff, I mean, I think it's a solid trilogy that I think when you look back on it and revisit all three movies, you can see the legit story that they're telling. Because, like I said, I'm trying to mince words here with how I'm saying it, but like I think it is a solid trilogy. It will look. I would say this: the way it goes, it's definitely a lot stronger than what Raimi's Spider-Man 3 was.
Oh, 100%. But see, but I'm not gonna put full fault on Raimi on that one
Oh, I never do. I never do.
because number one, fan demand. Number two, the studios. Like once
Mm.
you get those two things thrown in front of the director and his vision, because if you go back and look at what the original script for Spider-Man 3 was supposed to be,
Supposed to be
leading
Sandman.
into 4,
Supposed to be
it would have been
Sandman.
so much better. We
It
could have
was
got
it
we
was
could have got
literally
two.
just it was literally just
Yeah,
Sandman, and I think it was supposed to end with Eddie Brock Venom, but it wasn't
yeah.
supposed he wasn't supposed to be in the movie, and then 4 was supposed to dive and tail into that. And I'm like, that's actually not
That's what
bad.
that's what I'm saying. We could have got two very solid movies. In fact, we could have got 4 Raimi Spider-Man movies. But after that third one, he was like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Like we made money, but at what cost?
Yeah. What was the
What was the cost?
no, Chris. It's like that scene from it's like the scene from the end of Walking Dead when when Maggie looks at when she looks down at the freaking graves that was made at the hilltop, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" The price. The price
Yeah.
of getting what I want.
Jesus. So
That's what Spider-Man 3 was. You're just looking at all the graves like, God, the price.
yeah,
The
and I
price
think
we had to pay of making everybody happy.
and I think I said it on Twitter. I think a lot of the folks that have bitched and moaned about Spider-Man being Iron Man Jr., which I'm like, whatever.
AKA the Iron
I
Spider.
yeah, Iron Spider. It's like when you get to this third movie, I feel they're going to be very satisfied with how they did it. And I think, like I said, when you look back, when people look back at these trilogy of movies, I feel they're going to age very well with how they went
Mhm.
about doing Spider-Man. And like I said, and I think also too, what I love about this film is that you never felt that this movie was taking the piss out of even the previous Spider-Man films.
No, it doesn't.
There was a layer of like, yeah, there was some stupid stuff, but hey, that's what the movies were, and there are audience that loved it. It
Yep.
just got and I think I feel this movie was a celebration of what Sony has done with Spider-Man up to this point, and it worked.
I mean,
100%.
I did love that, that the movie will poke fun at itself and the other movies.
Yeah, it'll poke fun of itself that you don't feel like it's on some ha ha ha. Look how stupid it is. Like no. That happened.
It's like,
That's
yep,
Spider-Man, just like in the comics. Goofy shit fucking happens. It is what the fuck it is, And
Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man shit.
so like I said, the future I definitely feel is very bright. Like I said, with the news that Holland is coming back for 3 more movies, I was like, this is gonna be very interesting.
Negotiations. Let's just say negotiations were made.
Negotiations were made, so I am definitely curious to see where this goes. I definitely will recommend folks go check out this movie. If
It's
you
not even a
can.
recommendation for me. Go see the movie. Period.
Oh yeah, definitely
Just
go
go
see it.
see this. This movie, like this was in the realm of top 5 MCU films.
It had in-game energy.
It did. It had a lot of
In a way that was like, yeah.
But it's like I said, in the realm of my personal top 5 MCU films, it's in there. I want to see it again so I can give it a proper placement, but it's definitely in my top 5 MCU films.
Yeah, cause I thought I watched Shang-Chi like 5 times. I definitely put it might crack top 5. Cause at first I was like, okay, maybe after watching it one time, putting it top 5 was crazy. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I said. I got to see this movie again.
so watching Shang-Chi, as soon as it came out on Disney Plus, and I watched it like 3 more times and stuff, because again, that movie goes by like fucking quick. I was like,
shout outs to IMAX Enhanced.
yeah. So I was just sitting back and I was like, this is actually a pretty like solid origin story, but not really origin story that just says we're gonna get you in the shits immediately.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine a future MCU film. I would love to see Spider-Man and Shang-Chi do something together.
Oh, they've been together in the comics.
Yeah, I know they have, but I would like to see it on film.
Oh yeah, I think that's going to probably happen. Because again, if you're Sony, you see the possibilities of how these crossovers with your character works, and you're making money.
And yep, at the end of the
that's
day,
business.
It's money.
Money talks.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
It's funny if you really think about it. It's like Sony is the parent company. They own Spider-Man, and Marvel is the independent contractor to a character that they created.
Like I said, that was the unfortunate deal that happened when they were on the
when the
close of
yeah,
bankruptcy,
when
because it
when
was
they
like,
were,
well, we got to sell shit off to get money, and then
and see, and that's what, and I had a back and forth with my friend Jason about this, because he thought that Sony just bought the film rights
they
to.
do. Here's the thing: they have
No, he thought it was just the film rights to Spider-Man. I said, no. Sony owns Spider-Man.
Well, here's what
They have full
here's the
ownership of Spider-Man.
here's the tricky part. They own the film rights, but cartoons Disney can do.
Yeah, Disney could do the cartoons because that was before the purchase.
Basically cartoons and merchandising.
Yeah,
Which is why they had a relationship with Sony, because Sony's like, fuck, they're making a lot of money. We really want in on this. Yeah, what can we do?
Exactly.
Guys?
We're not. Hey, listen, we're not going to leave money on the table. I'm not walking away from a table full of money.
That's what this all is, and that's what I've argued with some people in the group. I'm like, at the end of the day, I understand business is business, but Sony's like, they could do it by themselves, but it's like, why go away from easy money?
Again, independent contractor. Marvel, Disney.
Thank you. It's like, why go away from easy money? It's like, if my last movie made $1.2 billion, why would I want to walk away from that?
Now, that said,
just saying.
Hold on. That said, don't think that we're just going to sit back and just rely on easy money. We dropped Spider-Verse.
No, that's it. They doing Spider-Verse. Don't get it twisted.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is don't think that we're just sitting back and just relying on easy money. We dropped Spider-Verse and made damn near, or did it make $1 billion? Didn't that movie make $1 billion? Or at least very close to $1 billion? I know that movie made bank.
But no,
Spider-Verse made money.
Hold on. 375 million overall.
Okay.
It didn't put it this way. It made its money, but it wasn't like $1 billion money. It was for an animated feature. It did pretty good. For an animated feature,
I would say
it did good.
I'm curious.
It was actually,
what was the budget?
So they made, so basically their budget was 90 million. In order to make a profit, you have to make double that. It made 190 million domestically, which means that it profited $10 million.
And the money it made overseas.
And then international was 185 million, so it's 375 total. So it made money for Sony to be like, you know what, we can do this again.
Yeah.
So
they can do it again.
So it ain't $1 billion, but it's definitely one of those, we have franchise potential on the other side with Into the Spider-Verse and Miles Morales over here and stuff. So,
and just imagine the real potential, because all it takes is for them to be on some Space Jam shit where he'll go from animated into the real world, and we'll get a live action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie. Sony can do that. You can do it.
I feel they are, but I feel it's going to be them looking at the Marvel Studios like, hey, so Miles, how about that? Can we do that, guys? Please.
But well, I know one thing they would probably do is like, okay, we can get away with this. We can do this. Somebody get that rapper Donald Glover, and we need him.
Yeah. So
like, can we holler at you real quick?
I mean, so anyways, I think we've gone on long enough. Go see the movie, guys.
Yeah, please go see it.
Go see it, and be on the lookout for our spoiler, quick hit spoilers, because like I said, I gotta get this shit out of my fucking chest immediately. It's already enough I had to hold it in during this review. So, but yeah, thanks for listening. Chime in if you've seen the movie, and be on the lookout for our spoiler review. And we catch you guys later. Peace out.